All right. Do you think the Chelsea project is already failing, or do you think we should give Liam Rosenior a little bit of time? Maybe he would be able to change things. Welcome to the Offside Laughs on FMS. Charlie Chelsea for now saying four, but in Chechemune Dawson, everything in Chechemune Hanum say. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notification bell, also share for others to join by us now. We thought they would be able to win their first trophy after winning the FA Cup with Mikel Arteta. But yesterday, Pep Guardiola outclassed and outplayed him, and Manchester City emerged as the champion in the year 4 Cup. We'll be talking about that. I have here my two gentlemen. They are constant on the show, but today I have my boss here. Boss,
I'm from Bozo. Because my name is Fifi Manfred.
All right. Fifi Manfred.
If the thing doesn't do queen, it has not work.
So you have to do queen.
Yeah, so my name is Fifi Manfred.
All right. Kumsman.
As well, be a winning. Now, my mom, they say,
What Bunidi?
Youngboy.
The name still remains Mr. Marfu, the utility guy.
I said.
I said,
All right. So today I'll be in the show. I'll be in the show with them. But no, let's start with this. Let's start with Chelsea. Since I have a Chelsea diehard.
Yeah, I'm not Chelsea diehard supporter, Masa.
Oh, Johnny.
But I'm not here as a Chelsea diehard.
Oh no, but I have you here.
I'm not a Chelsea diehard.
All right.
I will explain my thought as if I'm explaining Barcelona issues the same way I do
Okay, nice.
Madrid issues, not as a Chelsea diehard.
Right, nice. So let me ask you this.
Guys, me.
Yes. Chelsea projects. You've been
Start
building.
with Lakum Dems.
Mr. Host is doing his job.
I'm
Mr.
the-
Host, you are the host.
So you want to ask me about Chelsea project?
He's asking.
Say if I don't have anything to say, you move on.
No, but I hope we can. Where the other
I will be car.
So in January, we saw Enzo Maresca fired as the manager of Chelsea. They brought in Liam Rosenior, who was doing very well at Strasbourg. We all thought coming in, what he has done at Strasbourg, the project might fit him. Things will actually go as planned for Chelsea and the supporters and also the entire Chelsea project. But it's like things has gone south in the recent matches Chelsea has played and also, since he took over. Can we say the project is already failing, or we should give him a little bit of time?
Well, I don't know why people felt that Liam Rosenior was going to be able to turn things around after 15 games.
Okay.
I don't know even why Chelsea fans think that Chelsea was going to win trophies after 3.5 to 4 years. It's not feasible. I mean, if you look back at, and again, I don't know who brought the word project. And I ask myself, if you say that project is failing, then you have to define what the project is. What were the metrics that they set for the project and whether or not that is successful based on those metrics. But I don't think that Chelsea, the owners essentially just came in and said, officially they didn't say that. I don't think they came in and they said that we want to only buy young players. Okay. It was a lot of reportage in the media, especially from Cavasoico, who is known to be close to the owners of Chelsea. That usually said that Chelsea wanted to buy players 24 years and below. But I've said it several times that if you look at the Chelsea situation, where Chelsea were as a club, there was no way they were going to get 28-year-old, 29-year-old players in their prime.
Okay.
It was not possible. It's just like what Barcelona went into. Certain things force the club to do certain... Yeah. Although Barcelona is known to promote players on the La Masia, it got to a point where Barca had almost 8 players on the La Masia. Yeah. That is unusual. If Barca had the means to go and buy players on the market, maybe Pau Kubasi probably won't be here. Yeah. Maybe even Lamine Yamal, maybe because he's exceptional, yes. Maybe even Bernal, maybe Casado, maybe Fermin. Maybe this guys probably won't get to be here. So Chelsea was put in a situation where they had to find a way. I don't know if you remember, Kai Havertz was part of that Chelsea team that left at the time.
Yeah.
He's at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Ideally, before a Chelsea player leaves Chelsea to go to Arsenal, they are getting to the end of their career. It doesn't happen. Yeah. But it got to a point where the club was in so much disarray that players and their agents didn't know what the future looked like.
Okay.
So if you remember when the new owners came, the first set of players that they bought were not 24-year-old boys.
Yeah, I remember.
Under Thomas Tuchel, they bought Khalid Koulibaly.
Yeah.
They bought Raheem Sterling.
Aubameyang.
They bought Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yeah. These are seasoned players. Yeah. So Chelsea essentially didn't just go to the market and say, oh, we want just 24-year-olds. We want just 23-year-olds. We want just 26-year-olds. It is because even the seasoned players that they had bought, Koulibaly, Sterling, Aubameyang, these are players that are also at the twilight of their careers. Yeah. Koulibaly has stayed in Napoli for years, and he wanted to go somewhere. So Chelsea decided to go in and buy Khalid Koulibaly. Sterling had been at Man City for a long time. They decided to get him from there. Same for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. When Chelsea needed a striker, all of them did not work.
Okay.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was shambolic. Khalid Koulibaly, same. Raheem Sterling, abysmal. Yeah. To the extent that the coach that was there at the time, Thomas Tuchel, had to go. So what Chelsea did at the time was that, okay, for us to go and buy a player that is 30 years in his twilight, for us to go and buy a player that is in almost at the end of his career, then why don't we buy younger players? Give them time. We don't know, or we are not sure of the future. We are not too sure that football projects, for want of a better word, usually take a cycle of between 3 years to about 6 years to come to a completion and then probably become successful. Because of that, let's give the average player that comes to Chelsea 6 years contract so that we can protect our investments. Because ideally, today, everybody's speaking about how Enzo Fernandez most likely may leave the club. Yeah. And he has almost 5 years on his contract. Imagine if Chelsea had given him just 4 years. He has been there. It means that Enzo would have been left with 1 year. He could have easily forced the way out of Chelsea in the summer. Yeah. But now Chelsea can confidently say that we've not said we want to sell Enzo. So if you want to come and buy Enzo, you pay premium money, you take Enzo, we reinvest in the club. So I think it's a whole lot of things and situations that came up for the owners to say, okay, then let's go down the tangent where we buy young players. We invest in young players because there is time ahead of them. And in all of that, we give them the enabling environment for them to be successful in the next 2 to 3 years. Just so by the time it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, they've picked together, they've primed together, they know each other, and then they can succeed. The biggest issue Chelsea has had in this process since they decided to go on this tangent has not just been about the players, the inexperienced players, as people call it, because I don't think the question is about inexperience. The question is about getting quality.
Okay.
Again, I'll go back to Barcelona. Pau Kobasi is younger. In fact, 5 years younger than Gerard Martin. Yeah. But he's the best centre-back in Barcelona. Dean Heitsen is a couple of years younger than Antonio Rudiger and Ronald Araujo. But nobody will pick Araujo today over Dean Heitsen. Mm-hmm. If you look at across the world today, you look at, say, someone like Estevao Willian. Chelsea bought Estevao Willian this season. Yeah. He enters the club and he's better than every Chelsea winger that's in the club. He's better than Pedro Neto. Yeah. He's better than Ali Garnacho. Ali Garnacho has experience in the Premier League. Yeah. But still, this guy came for South America. So the biggest problem is not about the age. It is because Chelsea sporting directors have failed to be successful in the transfer market.
All right, so
they have not gotten it right in the transfer market. Okay. They go onto the transfer markets, they want to go and buy players just because, okay, this player can't be good enough alone, and they buy him. Again, if you do a proper look at the Chelsea team, the worst players are the older players.
Sanchez.
Tosin Adrebiayo.
Tosin. Fofana.
West is not a bad player. I mean, this days, yes, it's bad for Madden. West is not a bad, okay, in my opinion, I don't know for you. Okay. But West is not a bad player. But Sanchez, Tosin Adrebiayo, I mean, these are players that have had issues. Okay. There are certain players that are good enough, but they are also younger. Somebody like Reece James. You talk of someone like Moses Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer. These are young boys and they can play. So that's why when you add everything, see, if you look at Chelsea's result in the last 4 games, that has brought all of the brouhaha that Chelsea have come here. Yeah. 4 weeks ago, Liam Rosenior had come in. And I can bet that almost every one of you has seen Liam Rosenior, especially Lacombe. I've done shows with Lacombe on my channel where he had told me that he likes Liam Rosenior. He's a good manager. Yeah. He likes it because he's able to play against the low blocks and all of those things. It's the nature of football. Yeah. Once results begin to plummet, people begin to poke and then look at the cracks and see they can get cockroaches coming out from there. And that's what Chelsea are. I think Chelsea's problem now is a complex, complicated broth of a lot of issues. Issue of, I think the players are fatigued. Against Everton, I looked at the team in my head, I'm like, these guys are tired. Club World Cup, the number of games. In fact, Chelsea has played the most games. I think they themselves Madrid as well and Paris Saint-Germain in Europe have played the most games in Europe as it stands now. So they played a lot of games. Again, whilst Chelsea has depth, they tend to use almost the same starting 11. The only department that Chelsea were constantly changing were the defense. And that was because of Leverkusen's absence and all of that. And that has been one. Two, immediately you change the direction, the tactical direction, the managerial direction of a club in mid-season, you should know that it is either you have a plug-and-play manager, like Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Thomas Tuchel, who can come in and they go. If not, even a Pep and Enrique, these guys want to. The reason why Jose and the likes are plug and play is that they can come and make do with the squad. Okay, they look at the squad, it's okay. Thomas Tuchel did it. Yemba Trebak went to win the Champions League.
Yeah, based on the available materials.
Exactly. But Liam Rosenior, he's not on the level of Pep, but as he is the coach of Chelsea right now, Liam Rosenior, Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, they want to play their football.
Yeah.
What that has done for me, I think that's done two things, negative and positive to Chelsea. Negative is that in the short term, Chelsea are losing, and Chelsea fans, they shouldn't expect things to get better. Maybe they should forget about the season because the season is gone. But the positive is that it is making Chelsea's problems glaring. Example, last season, anytime Chelsea played Robert Sanchez, Chelsea fans say, "Hi, what's up? On your day, me inclusive." Then they say, "Okay, Liam Rosenior says, okay, let me go and play Philip Jorgensen
in the Champions League.
League. He wants somebody who is comfortable with the ball, all of those waffles. He plays him. About Philip Jorgensen and realize that the problem is not the players, it is the recruitment of the players and the quality that has been done over there. So how do we go on and make all of those things? Another example. Today, with how Liam Rosenior plays, do you know the player that the centre back that can fit how they play?
Maybe more comfortable on the ball.
Tosin Adrabiayo.
But Tosin Adrabiayo has gotten his opportunities under Enzo Maresca, even under Liam Rosenior.
Yeah.
But he has always been someone the fans criticize the most because he's also prone to errors.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because so if your best player to play the kind of football the coach wants to play is prone to errors, then again you know where the problem has been. That you said, okay, fine. You want to buy an experienced player to add to your squad because people said experience. They're buying young players. Don't buy young players. Don't buy young players. How old is Mbappe? How old is Vinicius Jr.? These are not old guys. Yeah. These are young players, but they are quality. Yeah. You buy Tosin Adrabia for free from Fulham, where he doesn't have to defend high. He defends low, his box. He comes to Chelsea. He's a good ball playing centre back, but he has to defend high. He doesn't have pace. He can't anticipate. Doesn't read the game well. All of those things, you get slotted. Okay. So for me, Chelsea's problem is an encompass of a lot of things. But the positive is that what Liam Rosenior is doing has opened up the Chelsea wound. And it has given them the opportunity to correct the mistakes in the summer. For me, I think the summer becomes the final nail in the coffin if you choose to say, nah, this is useless. It won't work. Or, okay, these guys are trying to do something right. Because if you go into the summer, this summer, you need to go in for somebody that raises the bar. Yeah. If you say you want to bring in Mike Penders from Strasbourg, unless you're 100% convinced that Mike Penders is a good shot stopper like Sanchez and is excellent on his feet like Philip Jorgensen.
And the thing is, Mike Penders from where he's coming from, a young goalkeeper, is going to be a risk and a bet you are going to take. I mean, some goalkeepers has come from a lower division or a lower club and they come to the, especially like what St. Lamens is doing for Manchester United. But how often does that happen in the English Premier League? So you need a goalkeeper who is of that standard, who can command shots, who can say, okay, today the game is very difficult. Let me rise to the occasion. Let me rescue the club. So I think Chelsea should rather consider someone who, let's say, maybe, if not too much experience, at least experience in the top level, who can control the pressure. Because Philip Jorgensen in the Champions League, as you said, that was the moment Chelsea needed him the most. I mean, against Paris Saint-Germain, after 70th minute, you are playing a draw. So you don't make these silly mistakes.
But you see, the problem again for me isn't about experience.
No,
because I want to give you an example. Juan Garcia. Where was Juan Garcia?
So, Juan Garcia...
What was he? He had not played for the Spanish national team. I played for the juvenile division. Espanyol. That was it. But you see, it's the temperament of the person.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, that it has to be perfect. You can't just look at data. There's certain aspect that data doesn't account for, like the person's attitude, like how the person deals with pressure. You can put the person through pressure cooker moments, even at Strasbourg. And okay, this person comes out of these moments good. But if you go and bring even Mike Maignan, because people will mention Mike Maignan, you bring Mike Maignan to Chelsea and he comes and he's in pose. Mike Maignan has made about 3 or 4 errors leading to go. Mike Maignan probably will make this error and we say, we bought another Tosin Adrabiayo. So it should be all round. You want to play out from the back. Is he good enough to play out from the back? I've not followed Pendes so much to jump at a conclusion and say he's good enough. Before I do that, they are the sporting directors. If you can ascertain that he's the good person, he has to come in, then you have to buy right. For me, that is the most important thing.
Okay.
Again, we can go back to when Chelsea bought Thibaut Courtois. How does Thibaut Courtois and Chelsea bought him? Thibaut was unknown.
Yeah.
In fact, in the modern game today, it's going to be difficult for you to get a goalkeeper in his prime and go and buy them. Unless you want to go and take Nick Pope.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go and take Everton's Pickford. They can't play with their feet. What do you want? So, you see, somebody said that Pep Guardiola, who started playing back at the back for his goalkeeper, has changed. But it's because what Pep needs today in a goalkeeper is different from what he needed before. Yep. Today, Pep needed somebody because there's chaos in his backline. He has a lot of ball-playing centre-backs. So he needs a goalkeeper to be dominant. That is all. Even with that, look at James Trafford. Excellent performance. Yeah. And he's a young goalkeeper. He came in as number one. They saw an opportunity in Gianluigi Donnarumma. They brought Donnarumma. Great. He's second choice. But yesterday, he was excellent. So for me, I think it's about the recruitment that Chelsea do next season.
Okay.
You just cannot go into the market and buy a player because the data shows they can dribble 40. No. Another example. I'm sorry, I'll end very soon. That's why I didn't want you to start with me. When you look at when Liverpool were moving from all the things that they were going through, there was a guy called Ian Graham. Ian Graham was the one who was in charge of Liverpool's purchases. Okay. And he used data, pure data. Then Jurgen Klopp, Michael Edwards came in. Then Jurgen Klopp says, no, you can't just buy players on data alone. So he scans and he's looking for a goalkeeper. Liverpool had Ian Kepa, Rizabalaga, and Alisson Becker. At the time, if you remember, Madrid were also considering buying Kepa from Athletic Bilbao. Wow. Then the conversation goes on. Liverpool say no. They have seen a Brazilian boy. And the story is one that tells that this guy can deal with stress. He comes from Brazil. When he came, he got sick. He had bad times. He went to Roma. All of this, he has still managed to be a top goalkeeper in Roma. Let us buy him because the temperament shows that he's somebody that can deal with pressure.
Okay.
They wanted an attacker. The story of Mohamed Salah made sense. Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp has said consistently that he doesn't just buy players of them. The story of Luis Diaz, why he bought Luis Diaz, is some of these things. Even for this guy that didn't work out and he has now gone to Saudi Arabia, what's his name? Darwin Nunez. It was a similar story. And the thing with Darwin is that no matter how bad it was, Darwin kept on going. Yeah. And Jurgen liked him because those things you don't see with data. And that is why I think Chelsea are failing. That's why I think, because you can't tell me that the Chelsea midfield is a regular midfield. You can't tell me a midfield of Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia, Palmer, Santos, Isugo is a bad midfield. What you need to add to this is a physical monster. Because these guys can't eat space. They are technical. You need another physical player to add to the pack. Then you need, as good as they are, centre-backs to match them. And then a goalkeeper. I don't even think Chelsea should waste money on getting a striker unless you are getting an Osimhen. You don't need to go and waste money on any striker again unless you are getting Osimhen. Stay with Joao Pedro. Give Liam Delap another season. But then improve massively centre-back area. Liverpool had gone on to all of these nearly things. It took them about 5 years, right? Yeah. Then it got to a point where they need two things. They need personality, and then they brought Virgil van Dijk, they brought Alisson Becker. The story changed. So, see, right now, no Chelsea fan will listen. In fact, it will never make sense even to the neutral because they are losing left, right, centre.
That is it.
But that is why my job is away from the fan. Okay. My job is that in all the emotions. I mean, you have watched a Chelsea game with me. Yeah. You know how emotional and stressful it becomes. Yeah. But that is why after the first 30 minutes after the game, I have to cool off and then look at the things as they're supposed to look. Is Liam Rosenior a bad manager? Maybe not. Is he the one to take Chelsea to the field, into the promised land? Maybe not. But what has to be done is that it's not just about sacking managers again. Okay. It's about solving the problems that are there.
Come on. The projects we are still talking about. What makes Liam Rosenior now become, let's see, his job at Chelsea now become a bit shaky? I'm not saying too much. It's like a bit shaky. People are trying to raise concerns about his competencies as a result of the results the team is getting in recent matches they are playing. Do you think whatever thing should be based on the results the team is getting now, or do you think we should look beyond the results?
See, football project, you know. So once the fan starts to more cast about the project, meaning no more any progress. And the reason why I feel say Liam Rosenior, man for Pine can asem dear, Enzo Maresca beto. To which I debut make us say, nay, unrealistic results when over the materials and HS or at that point in time and the kind of results I know in your Chelsea now, it was because of him. And it doesn't mean say Liam Rosenior so bad na say o me do this kind of standard that Enzo Maresca so they Chelsea do. It doesn't mean say Liam Rosenior a bad coach. Me there be a make say Liam Rosenior is not the problem for Chelsea now. The Chelsea because on any the problem of Liam Rosenior is about their project. There be I say me who project is clear because of my perspective and how I see project.
Okay, so how do you see projects?
You see projects are 5 steps.
Okay.
Or the vision, step 1. Now about planning. Now about implementation. Now about development. Now the final results.
Right,
so the last stage.
So with the 5 steps you just mentioned, which one do you think Chelsea is not doing well?
You see, Chelsea are stuck in planning and implementation.
So that means they have the vision.
They have the vision.
Okay.
The vision is clear. Seeing a person you do at this point in time. This is the players we want.
Okay.
This is the style of play we want to play.
Yeah.
Now the planning is recruitment. Ben was here. Never fit our vision for the club.
Right,
This
so-
our project.
Right, so I don't want to. It's
Okay,
like I'm
I'm
interrupting you, but
Oh.
they have the vision,
Mm.
and they've seen that these are the materials when we bring into the club, it's going to work for them. So you all agree, or you agree with me that they have a vision, and they
they
said,
have a
okay,
vision.
this is the direction we are going. We want to recruit young players with this particular plan. Give ourselves, let's say, this number of years, and they are signing in the young players. So they are going according to what they've planned, right?
Oui.
And I said, you see planning, and if you said that's where they have a problem, right? I said, okay, so if they have the vision that this is the direction you want to go, we want to stick with these young players because if you can, you know, the time the Todd Bowley and the Clear League people took over Chelsea, they can't convince, let's say, an Osimhen who was at his prime at Napoli to come to the club because there was no, like, he didn't see his future there. He didn't see the direction of the club. So they developed a certain plan that, or they had that vision that do. Then let's go differently. Let's try to recruit the young ones. We'll bring young players, and then we'll give ourselves, let's say, 4-5 seasons. I think that's the vision and the planning.
So maybe recruitment and kind maybe any the problem of players recruitment.
Okay.
I'm saying you see, the vision was clear. This is the style of football we want. Manager when the bit man fitted this style of football. That's the vision. The planning is this is the kind of place we need to recruit. Because when a person years and the implementation is now, are we going to stick to one manager? Say manager when a fitty star no, and I say about say we need an instant result from this our project. That's the why the make say you see the project takes time. When you make a project, all the cast projects we are not what I see deliver. No matter the situation, no matter the how say we recruit players now, a proper, be fit style of playing, you know, it will take time because adaptation is of football. So no matter the situation, so what shall say project, it will take time. You've seen the 208 Abu Dhabi project of Manchester City. It taking how many years? And some of that dominance stand on more, you know. And it is going to take time. And the recruitment, I may have a problem with, you know, at the manager side.
Okay.
Because one thing I can't tell me say, no matter the situation, I know Chelsea. And I say, no matter the situation, at the point in time, Enzo Maresca decided to leave Chelsea. Reasons in the door, so it be free say the project and not so it be so may think the otherwise. No matter the situation, he's a manager that fit into your style of play. A ball project in the years now was setting up projects now. You need to find a way to convince him to stay rather than changing managers. Because at the point in time, Opeja, the standard of Chelsea in one project, it could do a certain point in time. In Eliamaba, honestly, a different manager with different philosophy.
Yeah.
Maybe, and yet, to of style of play, no, maybe it will be that style of play now offered from Liam Rosenior. But with different philosophy. Wabebe new players are on coach or that maybe when you be and do Santos win beba. But I feel and the philosophy ebebe total impact on the players for them to what play and good and give her that good result that you be expecting. And also be take it time. That's why I say Enzo Maresca on sakin no on project na asa connectibio.
Okay.
Because new manager na asa ba be Enzo de bedru Enzo Maresca de bedru maybe Liam was in a bit team de bedru but it will take time for him. And some of them drew a Enzo Maresca drew. And football fans and Chelsea fans and also Buzan say on be cooperate with the situation now because project a progress. And at the point in time they saw that that progress. Yeah. Say team new could do say obi any age. After there a short period of time your project now you progress and the progress now as I retrogress. And a big problem. And the Enzo Maresca na there as we finding no situation na ninu kwazo be find home. Man for be a backlash no. Man for Liam, man for better out in a tactical approach. Man for better out in because of the results now. Maybe the tactical approach may be right in years. Maybe at a point in time that tactical approach will be unfair. Or Tanasi China players now understand him. Maybe 3 or 4 seasons or be mad that results now Enzo Maresca debano. But the situation now say Enzo Maresca be time Chelsea team be drew baby. And now Chelsea fans now started that standard no. See a project there, but at the point in time this same project. And a manager be for the bedroom see. And we expected that standard setting manager be set with this kind of project and it is over. Now say be retrogress and that results. Now at the point in time we are fighting for the top 4. At the point in time now say UEFA Champions League winners. I dey be count. But then any buy top 4 crab e. That is football fans. That is Chelsea fans. But me to say can I say project it take more time. Would the obi team fab Arsenal project this say for about 6 or 8 years. Yeah. Taking time. More time. Omunya this kind of resource. And maybe Debbie Ameka say, oh, this Chelsea materials I could tom. Maybe at a point in time, Enzo Maresca be a Juan Wasson, and my players now me free say, no one to me compete for this kind of competitions not bringing now. Enzo Maresca do mu do it. But for me, the realistic nature of chess materials and not necessarily say players in inequality. Because my projects no me say they will balance youth and experienced players because project we will have an experienced player 2 or 3 in the project. No recruiting youth players, you know. But Chelsea project we have more of young players that here experience. And this kind of competition, I best competing. At the point in time, you need experience. You can testify to it. At the point in time, you need an experienced player. Only 2 or 3 work or set up for them to somebody on more experience never back for the team to perform well. But Chelsea players, you can talk about Enzo who experience in the bet. The experience now do how many level. So what the experience will be a bit sneaky. So what I say, until you need experience, and what's so no about 15, no you tonight, ebo, now you need to swim before mu. So at the point in time, you do a bit experience in here, you see this kind of big boys no more experience, no more save the club. But Chelsea projects are quite all young, inexperienced players never. At the point in time, we go face a situation, they need an experience. So they will copy a certain match, no, but omuni be. Lie down with that implementation American.
Right, so you think the major problem for this current Chelsea project is lack of experience, right?
Not necessarily lack of experience, because
but it's a major factor.
Yeah, one factor.
Okay, so let's do this. Should the Chelsea project be based on the results, like we are doing to Liam Rosenior?
No.
Okay, so you think they should consider the positives? What he's bringing.
Fans, they're not there, but they're born with higher results.
No, but you see, at this point, it's not about the fans.
It's not about the fans. It's fans not about the fans.
But you see, sometimes, would see fans need be brain now. You take certain decisions that in the long run will affect the club.
And the thing is, fans who the clear vision of project, no who the progress of the vision now. Now they'll be convinced now, but me see Chelsea fan be who project no progress and how clear it is.
This is how clear the project is.
Me see me there be a project to mini much believe in it.
Mr. Mafo.
Yes, senior.
Project no direction we are.
Chelsea project now. You see, Chelsea project so far, the main problem I'm having with the project as a whole has been the managerial issues concerning the project. And I'm the main problem. You see, if we are comparing the Abramovich era any Marina Ganoskaya era compared to Joe Shields, Paul Stanley, Egabanli, ne Omo Makana is a whole different Chelsea. That's one thing I would say Chelsea for G2. Domu said the results is not going to come as the way Abramovich era no multimi AG League. There are some times when multimi Champions League unexpected. Chelsea need form, but when the Champions League, no many no that period over.
No, but
now
I'm not cutting you. But under the same thought body, last season who knew Chelsea would win the Club World Cup?
let me settle. Okay. Yeah. Now that period is over. Now they are in a different era. Management will want a different plan. You see, in the past, Chelsea and Abramovich mono, they took managers. That's what they make, can I say? They took managers. It's the likes of Antonio Conte, Mauricio Sarri, Jose Mourinho, and even Roberto Di Matteo and Avram Grant. They were managers. So when they come in, they instill their tactics and philosophy in the team. So they were institution on their own. Into the moment that these managers the institution maybe be what they have in Nako. And these managers were involved in the transfer matters. To when the bit market was a to play with team system near there. A Bremen. Yes. But fast forward. Now, new managements nearby, they have a whole different structure. And structure, and they say, you are a head coach and a sporting director, so we are working independently. So what they make can I see? If we learned separation of powers or JHS, NSHS, yes, we'll be working independently, we'll be interactive with Juma. So sporting directors and the scouts in Juma, they say they will get in the players on base duty Chelsea. Then you, the boss or the head coach, they say, what they need on the pitch training and also tactical switches out the bar and the results be great team, So it's a whole different Chelsea. And you can see here, Now, the main reason why and they make us ask them, they say, Enzo Maresca coming in as Chelsea, he understood the fact that Chelsea as a club, this is the structure. You have to obey this. You have to work independently. Sporting director be in Juma, Mensu me Juma, and OG2 no be Juma. Now, the first season, Oba Nyoma koye man, because maybe consider and say that period, Chelsea was in the Conference League, and the Conference League, considering teams are not Chelsea in mobile that moment, every match and Chelsea be Kumbia was the clear favorite to win the game. Am I lying? Until they were able to even manage the squad to play the league phase, because Nako Palmer and some key players no mumbo league phase nibi. It is some players in the league phase, need the Bimabo, EP or any other competitions, the knockout stage or in the first 11 boy at the end of the day, or could beat Rebetis 2-1 in the finals or Jeffrey Ninsem. Fast forward no more Club World Cup. Now, the appetite that Chelsea fans be bringing and they say now, that's the Chelsea we need. That's the Chelsea, like unexpected Yeje trophy. So now, the team is there. And then, let's hunt for the trophies more. Which I thought say very wrong at that moment. Because Chelsea as a whole, they were in a transition stage. And then they are still in a transition stage. So what did they make and I say? Tininian settle here. I feel a team they finding the fit. I feel a project and they finding the fit. Are we getting the concept very well? Finding the fit. And say finding the fit now at the end of the day, there is some positive thing about the actually now and say positive thing now at the abano. It's just a project on the right path. But it be some additions ka crazy at the bed then. You the back count say be a bedroom baby I was say then it drew no. Sana kwa. You see, Maresca as a coach, after the Club World Cup and the BBI, now now, he has to be the manager. He had his direction. So say manager because if Rebi say Koko Sechi say when me kwasi apenyinche iti ye be pa adwuma ne dia ye ne nkakra ne age adwuma no se age adwuma ne wie ne etimi edu ba bi edu a then ne enso ye de ye office aba betu table no say we na wo so wo ye mame ade o problem say
what's the program
What am I there?
what's the program
Ade. Ebe na mebuna na.
Benny wrong. Because it's Yanka Sada.
Because I didn't even go.
What can someone say? Because it's Yanka. Say because he said, no, because you're begging.
Because I didn't go.
And so no kind.
I want a guy. I want a guy.
Is now much man or the okay.
Twas. Yeah, you find this conversation.
Okay.
Who feel that doesn't want a guy?
Enti, I don't know. Oba adwuma mu foforo.
But you just want to kako you. Because it's just see, wait till the time ya o. Mempe so bi anye di no bi anye san go for kan kwasa. That was way. Unzare.
How come on there?
Syria, use your kwasi you have to pay in.
Let's go.
Enti no adwuma no ba be pen. Wa accept fact in this the structure me will be. Now, wa ba be the trophies na wie. It will only feel say now. What do level because we study that period now. Even faces Arteta currently menya the papa bi ama Arsenal team no. So what they make can say. Now considering the fact say within 1.5 years, what did 2 trophies about Chelsea now? Then he will need some power. Kaka. Say that be on also bet my requested players or also be a bit suiting the system no. And Chelsea felt to say in suiting the direction of the club because club in the direction and they say sporting directors work independently. You as a head coach, all the NSL, all the pitch in the Sunni players, you know. See better players now, then you work with them. So what they make can I say? It's about no. If you are not going by the structure of the club, then you have to go. And no coin akofa Liam Oba, you know, because I didn't say Chelsea as a whole, no, because of pet managers on base to structure, you know, or fat coaches on base have control over them. And Liam is a clear example. I'm not discrediting him so on your top coach, but also on your that elite coach like Luis Enrique because Luis Enrique interview those times no more rejecting mainly because Chelsea for no more feeling say Enrique as a whole, so Enrique be fat club now as well. Enrique only demands. Obe person be a manager, not the head coach. About structure no, enko ye more. Then we have to get managers we upcoming, looking promising. Yeah, bet him have control over them. So they went in for Liam Rosenior. Waba or yeah, Jumano. I think say earlier stages no. No really. Chelsea for baby Maresca.
In fact, Oba
no really. Now, wakwa kunya the heaviest defeat 8-2. What psychologically affected players in me. And you can't tell me say affected players psychologically. Because Chelsea, Aquaco Paris Saint-Germain, considering the fact that players like I say Club World Cup, I'm quite sure 3-0 no. Then same team in the last 7 months, I'm quite sure no. And the same team, I'm more ball match home and away 8-2. Psychologically weak no more. I know lose 4 games in a row. And people are having that on say I don't know the moment are results in Inkoyi club no. So many people, and a lot of noise around the club because they're a big club. People will say project ni Inkoyi and a project ni way. But project no blame now has been the management, you know.
So you think what's actually going on at the club should be we should just give it to the managerial aspects, those in charge of the managerial aspects. Me
personally, I may some I know that.
Okay.
I feel say at this point there are some positions in the Chelsea team they will need experienced and established players to win. Like the left wing, baby Jamie Gittins and the Garnacho in the ball on them. Because
I say Garnacho experience.
Experience one here.
What is the experience? What do you mean?
Garnacho experience one here.
Who has experience? I don't know.
Obi man have experience, no impact.
No, so that's exactly what we've been saying. Say the issue is not experience.
Me state me see experience and established.
Because the experience in quite a Garnacho will be.
Me state established,
And I don't think every experienced player is quality.
Yeah, so that's why the Chelsea issue is not just about experience.
Maybe established also.
We can talk of players they've experienced certain stages. Nacho, a typical example. He was part of the Real Madrid squad, always playing.
But even with Nacho could be an important player for where Madrid were because he had seen the Champions League, Madrid winning it. If you are bringing in young players and you have Nacho, he's a guide to them.
Exactly.
Right? You see, this same Chelsea issue, Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
It was at Chelsea a couple of years ago. Thiago Silva, before Tuchel, Chelsea fans wanted him to leave. Okoche go against West Brom, I'll be almost in the pace. Thiago Silva and Timim, but so see, just buy quality. Buy quality. If you go into the summer, Chelsea go to Tottenham Hotspur. I'm praying that Tottenham gets relegated. Go to Tottenham Hotspur. You get Mickey van der Ven.
That player there,
Yeah, you get Mickey van der Ven. Even add Kuti Romero to it. No, you see, I'm not bringing Kuti Romero to be like the guy, but he's physical.
Yeah,
Romero will not make it easy for you. Yeah. Add Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Levi Cole is getting back on his feet. Then you add Wesley Fofana still stays there. Disas Yonko, but actually does not work that he has to go. Mamadou Sa is going to be a squad player. He's young, a champion. But even with all that, see, Liverpool have gone on to go and buy Jeremy Jacket. Jacket doesn't have experience. But Jacket will perform well when he goes to Liverpool. He will not do so. Let me give an example. This French boy that's at Manchester United, Lenny Euro. Madrid wanted him like die. Was it Grand or long? They wanted 50 million. Madrid said we will not pay 50 million for this boy. Manchester United bought it. Madrid is a settled team. If he had gone to Madrid, the issues he was getting at Manchester United, he wouldn't have gotten those issues. But he goes to Man United, he gets them there. It doesn't mean it's not quality. It's about, again, also the team. So for me, the most important thing Chelsea have to look for going into the summer is about temperament. The person you are going to buy, how is the person able to deal with adversities?
Okay.
You can't bring that guy here. Like, bad things happen. Because Wesley Fofana, they play the ball across to him. He's jogging. He has given in, like, he has given up. You can't bring players like that. You need people in the mode of, he can be 19. I've seen Pau Kubasi go to Santiago Bernabeu. I've seen it several times. I've seen
even Lewis Kelly in the Champions League last season for
us. I've seen Alexander Pavlovich.
Yeah, Bayern.
Go to the Santiago Bernabeu and then give them a clinic. These guys, their temperaments, they have quality. They raise it up. Yesterday, Stavao Olean was playing when he played against Everton. He looked like the only guy who wanted to play the game.
Yes.
So I think that bounces back to what they are saying, experience. Look, Chelsea might have few players who has experienced certain stages.
Yeah.
Like Enzo Fernandez, we talk of the World Cup, and he even won the best young player in that particular tournament.
Yeah.
Reece James has won the Champions League. He has also played for Chelsea in the Premier League.
Kopama has won the Champions League.
Kopama has also won the Champions League. But look at these players. Enzo Fernandez is the deputy captain at the club right now. Now, he struggles with English. One. He just came to Chelsea. This is his fourth season. And they are players in certain clubs who, one, the communication goes well for them. Decent communication.
Yeah.
In addition, they're also good players.
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez is a good player,
Yeah.
but communication will be a problem. Now, Reece James, when Enzo Maresca came, he raised concerns about his leadership qualities. Right? Kopama is not that guy you expect him to be that leader on the pitch.
Yes.
Moise Caicedo comes with that. But Moise Caicedo is also another South American who is also struggling with
No, but Mo is not even a good leader. Mo is a very quiet, in terms of temperament, he's a very quiet person. Joao Pedro also saying more laid back.
So I think Chelsea they need quality. In fact, they need upgrade of certain players they have in the team right now. But there should be a blend of people who understand certain stage.
That is what I'm saying. It's about temperament. An example, Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson will not struggle. He's English.
Exactly.
And you see, the English people, apart from the fact they can speak English, they are confident. They don't care to stand up to you. When did Declan Rice go to Arsenal? But Declan has it. Like, it is his person. That's what I keep on saying. It has to be the person's personality.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this just because I'm here. I have a personality of, I can go to whichever office, I can go from here to Sky Sports and I will not feel out of place. It's just a temperament thing. Somebody can be better than me. But ABA will ask Sky Sports and a bono. Yeah. Then he begins to fumble. It's a temperament thing. Once you get somebody like that, who you get like 2 or 3, that's what I'm saying. I like Mickey van der Ven. Van der Ven is Dutch. He has it.
Yeah.
You can get it in Elliot Anderson.
Kuti
Romero. Then maybe if you had Osimhen, I doubt to go for Osimhen. You had Osimhen, get these guys. They raise the culture and the standard. So how dare you, Wesley Fofana, that's born after home, you're walking. Nah, all of those things, those are things that Chelsea have not taken into consideration. They've taken certain aspects into consideration. It's now time to go to the next level. Arsenal knew they needed to move on from Partey because Partey is a nice guy. He had issues around him. Bring Declan. Arsenal knew that they needed to find dominant players at the back in Magalhaes and Saliba. They may not even be the best players because these days people do a lot of analysis and they say, oh, Saliba and Magalhaes, common said they're perfect, sir. The other defenders in the league are better than them. But it's a temperament thing. You won't come to Emirates and come and dominate Gabriel Magalhaes. Oh boy. It won't happen. So for me, it is the nitty-gritties, it's the temperament, it's the human beings that you're bringing. Because mind you, if you buy a player, you're not just buying a footballer, you're buying a human being. You're buying the person's state of mind, their thoughts, how they go through stuff like that. And I don't know, but again, for me, I just have to look at the summer to see what they want to do. I think in the summer, let's get it right.
That brings me in on the experience and established players. Now you see, per what I was saying, the left wing, you see, there is Garnacho, there is Jamie Gittins.
Yeah.
Now, the two of them, who is established? None. So now, Chelsea, in as much say you need quality, no, you need an established person. Someone, he comes in, gives you that instant result. He hits hard. You see, there are some positions in the Chelsea setup. They will just need those type of players to spark the players, because sometimes you may hear experienced and established players in your setup, and also apart from what they will give you, they will also mentor those young players, more setup, just to grow mentally. He was talking about Kuti Romero. He talked about Mickey Van der Ven. In as much Tottenham is suffering, you could see they are trying very hard. They don't give up easily. So what the American say, and they are experienced and also established players on their own. It's so to play. We say, the centre back role for Chelsea. They come in, they give you what you want.
Okay. Mark just raised another solid point when he was giving his submission that Chelsea need a coach who they can, let's say, decide for. It should be like more like a puppet. Do you think Chelsea, if the project wants to grow, they will need to involve the coaches in certain decisions like the player recruitment you are talking about? Because what happened to Enzo Maresca was, the rotation thing, try to rotate players because they will have to keep the value and increase the value of certain players. Enzo Maresca said, no, I've raised the standard to a certain level. I need to maintain the standard. So giving certain players opportunity in big games and decisive games actually affects the performance of the team. But they said, okay, no, we need to rotate team. Mauricio Pochettino, the same issue happened. Is that he wanted to sign these players, let these players go. The management said, no, this is what we want. Do you think the coaches should be given that room, that opportunity to also decide, have a say in the player recruitment and also certain decisions in the club?
When Barca were going to sign Juan Garcia, one of the biggest issues was Hansi Flick's possible conflict of he being German, Marc-André ter Stegen being German, and what the club wanted. He's human, right? He's German. He'll go back to Germany. But it's about the club's interest.
Okay.
In this day and age, no club, and I repeat, no club allows one manager to dictate purchasing of players. You can have an input.
That's it.
Yeah, you can have an input. In fact, the whole team sits down and then they decide. It's not just Pep Guardiola. I'll give you an example. I don't think that Pep said he wanted Gianluigi Donnarumma. I think the data team pulled up the data to Pep, pulled out the spreadsheet, they projected it on the wall. They said, Pep, yes, we don't like a ball-playing goalkeeper, but this guy, he saves almost every shot. We are conceding a lot of goals from crosses. He dominates the box. He gets the crosses for us. Pep will say, okay, if it will work, let's go and get him. It's working.
Yeah.
So even the best of the best don't get that. I've seen a lot of people say the different variations of what you just said with Enzo Maresca. What I remember clearly was an issue with the medical team. What the medical team says, somebody is coming back from injury. You can't play him for 90 minutes. Enzo feels that I don't trust the bench. I want to play this guy for 90 minutes. Yeah. But the medical team also told you that if you play this guy for 90 minutes, you risk another injury. Yeah. So you remember when Maresca after the game against Everton, Chelsea beat Everton 2-0. Then he said that was the saddest day in his job as Chelsea. Because he had people there that have sort of questioned his work. He came back and in fact, it got to a extent where Chelsea changed their medical team member that was by the dugout. At first, it was young physios and doctors. They brought in the old guy. There's this very lanky old man who is Chelsea's physio that sits in there. So that was the issue. I don't think it's necessarily puppeteering. I mean, in this job, people usually find words that gets the clicks. And it's okay. I try not to do that, even if it's not about my team. Just to use certain words that gets, because when somebody says that, oh, Chelsea want a puppet, every other fan that wants to throw will go and watch. Yeah. Because they get something to throw and then go and say that. I don't think it was necessarily about puppeteering. But the biggest issue is that if you come in as a coach, you can't get all the power. I still do not agree with the Chelsea board having letting Enzo Maresca go, because you know why? You can still Enzo Maresca as a coach. He doesn't even have to migrate to become a manager, but you can give him more powers than he had before.
Okay.
You can, if you said, okay, I wanted a centre back, he has brought on Mamadou Sarr to come and understudy. Mamadou Sarr has not worked at the Club World Cup. He went back to Strasbourg. Levi gets injured. Then you say, oh, fine. I think that a champion should play because a champion is good enough. Then there are a lot of people that say that, oh, if a champion was in Barcelona, he would play. Look at Kubasi. But he forgets that it's probably different. He forgets that probably it's a different context that we are talking about. In all of that, I think Chelsea should have bought a centre back for Enzo Maresca. I think Chelsea and Maresca got to the point where he deserved to get the things that where he had brought the club to. He deserved to get the things that he didn't get it. Maybe the club should do better in that regard. But I doubt that anybody is going to come into the club. See, Vincent Kompany went on. He said he wanted Nicolas Jackson on loan. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge did an interview. He said, we won't buy him. We're all hearing what we see. Vincent Kompany is not a puppet, easy. But the owners of the club say that, apart from all of this, yes, you are the coach, you understand. We are also spending the money. In this day and age, the game is so investment aligned that you can't just throw away money in that regard. Florentino Perez went on to go and buy, what's his name? Mastantuono. What has become of Mastantuono? Which coach sanctioned the purchase of Mastantuono?
And even that moment, Xabi Alonso wanted Martins Zubimendi.
Exactly. It was Martins Zubimendi that was a big question that the coach wanted. So it's the data team. The data team, okay, say we want this. Sometimes if you look at marketing, now that Chelsea are not winning, trust me, we can get a lot of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea need to keep the ship together, especially Rosenior. Get into the top 5 if he can. If he can't, get the Europa League. Go into the summer and attack the summer in the right way.
Right. I think I agree with what you just said. I mean, no coach gets it easy. And someone raised one concern about even Manchester City signing Erling Haaland. That do I think Erling Haaland is a typical Pep Guardiola request or demand for Manchester City? If you like, the opportunity came. Erling Haaland had certain affiliation with Manchester City and he had the opportunity to sign him. So let's sign him and bring him to Pep Guardiola. Yeah. A typical Pep Guardiola wouldn't go, but people try to find reasons to maybe Pep Guardiola trying to involve other things, but I don't think it's done everywhere. But at least it's a little power to actually do something. Now let's move to Arsenal. Must a coach always retain a player he started a certain tournament with, even in the final when the player is not on that level?
No. No. I mean, by force. Even Real Madrid, the last time I gave you the UEFA Champions League, right from the quarter-final phase, Andre Lunin was our goalkeeper, and he was giving out a good performance against Bayern Munich, against Manchester City. He was giving out that good performance. But you do final against Borussia Dortmund, Anna Courtois is fully fit available. Or choose one Courtois, because in this kind of situations, you need your most experienced goalkeeper. Maybe as a situation, because on the field of play, as for on the day was symbolic. Until you cannot put blames on Kepa. But for me, we need to put blame on the decision why Mikel Arteta chose Kepa over Raya in this kind of situation. When him say you need this kind of measured trophy to psychologically boost yourself mentally, going forward for the UEFA Champions League and the Premier League.
No, but in these same tournaments, this goalkeeper has kept their post from the beginning to the end. Pep Guardiola did same with James Trafford.
Is it where final same never didn't come on?
Pep Guardiola was also playing the final.
Was it there?
Pep was also playing the final.
Yeah.
He kept his best goalkeeper on the bench for Trafford.
The Aju been just no beju. Different.
No, but don't you think if
Adroji obi enye
so don't you think because Arsenal lost is why we are making this statement because
this mean they I come win here second because and you see tie the reason why most people thought say lose because of that mistake from Kepa. It's on the day. Say Arsenal give you this symbolic performance and a goal now Manchester City for sure you cannot put that blame on Kepa there. And coming to this come away. But the reason why Arsenal for lost on the 9th, you know, my vote pina associated with that mistake from Kepa. And I accept that because untimi shiribo we ma born in France ase. And me to ati mo be born she. And you must say if it was Raya, can Raya be this kind of maybe Raya on other day this kind of mistakes maybe. But we say how many times you won't Kepa in this kind of tournament table. Edu final why yes and name and be. At Chelsea, two consecutive times. Free must mean free more better. Yeah, kwase penalty no go for you. And this is situation now of finding a home, go win and dream. I'm not bona team busa inexperience and I say only that confidence. It busa I say you say you confidence in this kind of stage and experience in this kind of stage. Then right on I did not for why to post him. Anya loyalty asemo. It was your loyalty as a performance. You compare trophy akwa jade loyalty. Lunin is a too many now. You say Lunin. Why civil bo bia pebia, but they do find an akapai quarter available. There be quarter over Lunin because of experience and the why in that season, you know. The more decisive sales are no yamae. A woman say Lunin ye be there compared to quarter. You choose quarter over Lunin into final against Borussia Dortmund quarter be them yan kwachi. And over there we this kind of you would the kind of sales or here Real Madrid on the day mom the UEFA Champions League.
Day me boy.
You see? And in this kind of stage you need an experience and a confidence goalkeeper in Raya. Nature loyalty as seven market and tranche me for me. I feel say and no one reason why and that's one factor why Arsenal lost on the night. But for me on the day Arsenal was symbolic and me put you blames on Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta previous I too careful. And then you know psychological aspect of the game now every minute 3 months. I who knows say I did you cry me ko you mistake gives a see and you shemia say ni pabeka into way too careful into when the day one pull it in the threat for Arsenal for Manchester City. When unim year pass Manchester City trust and papa. And even if say who different no low blocks are so what you born na me who effective or how so you born na o quick counter o ma ebeye. And Arsenal on the day was symbolic. Omochebo na no quick transition, no effective of it. Omochebo na aside ban for himself. Na City for the second half no quad that was symbolic. Omu gupo omusa na City for create chances na sa. Omochebo no so na aside Jeff from himself. And mu say the tactical approach and previously matches our ball amahu. The be Arsenal for who say must be defense na strong code e we team ntine. You defend ye dey benya ba ko bia kwa kwase ye benya set piece ba ko ne akopema tum na ekọ. Sana kwakoy into the day omu defend here pa but the mistake of Kepa no and the say bibia into you cannot be sure of defense no throughout 90 minutes also pull out the threat for teams man who say massa so ono so jebo na ono so pull it threat into na yenso say ebe anymore na ye how e be defend and that was the issue now City for more because omu say mun pull in the threat mo jebo na ye beje into na e chiro kwa mo mra mo ne for pressure ni so so ye defend be defend here Kepa be mistake ye be share. Until you cannot put your trust or different full 90 minutes or this kind of competition there. But when we say City for massa and you mean quay mom last season controllers. And on win team risks on Bassa controllers this season. When we Pep. It's when I all out when we say we have Champions League they go that year come on. And the Premier League on June this over to come back. About be defeated Arsenal the Premier League. And they are kind of pay this kind of final now. And so we pull anything to get this kind of trophy. So the base and this one got trophyless 2 seasons. It's all about all out. That was the approach. And it's only when you approach this all about all out. You need to hurt him. That's a quick transition. You need to be effective. And as long as they were symbolic, they were effective. How much you defend Papa? Defending in the Musa, shaking Bernardo, the one in the Musa, as someone defended. So when the approach of Mikel Arteta cost Arsenal team, no. And we day Kepa on this day, we must Kepa Samasa. Kepa, hey, Kepa do we go anymore? This kind of situations. Oh, we bet you we my bona fans this year. So I think say the blame should be putting on Mikel Arteta.
The Arsenal problem.
You see,
It's still mentally.
you see, me ba FMS first day. Me need the line didn't come on. We said the line Arsenal.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And I'm catch and say Arsenal team is beatable. So now tia.
Now still team in
See.
But even I don't know comment was it.
Me be see asem so achiro. Arsenal team is beatable. Now that comes now Hana need.
Yeah.
Is it not before that? Now you show me that.
And I disagree with you.
Intense argument that day, no.
And never higher.
The last year,
Now you see,
You
see something? Yembra the Mikel Arteta issue, you know, of choosing Kepa over David Raya. You see, sometimes in finals, you know, I am for emotions and tone change. He make the right decisions in finals. Now, maybe set it two clear examples. Then you see, say, in finals, we don't deal with emotions. We check the past history of the club. It's a club need here trophy in the pan. Because Arsenal, the last time Oje Carabao was 33 years ago. And see, Senke Pedio here trophy as a between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal here trophy, no. And considering that Arsenal is also competing for the league. So winning this is a morale booster ahead of the rest of the games for the season, no. So it was about the right decision. Now, Real Madrid, any Manchester, any Dortmund game, you know. Dortmund game for the finals, you know. The decision between Courtois, Lunin. Before there were people and Lunin and that why there, Courtois and that. Ancelotti took the bold decision, said it's final. They also them here, why? Thibaut Courtois, because why they? What them 2022 as a crucial moment against Liverpool. At the end of the day, we need 1-0 DJ trophy, you know. Into the ideal man also open. My Courtois should be in the post. Now, Copa del Rey last year in the final, throughout the knockouts phase, Madrid almost strike another boy Hendrik Felipe. Now I share 5 goals on the front toys, no the same goals. A true final, no. Why na boy? Killing Mbappe na boy. Other than Yanka say Hendrik, I had in the Copa del Rey. It was crucial moment. They only killing Mbappe. Oh, I know they say, but I don't say crucial moment. You need your big play. Say who way Hendrik, any Mbappe in final. Why not be here in the final? Killing Mbappe.
But this Raya and then Kepa issue. Kepa has kept the post in the final before. Final Ben and David Raya Adada.
This say no.
Kepa quarter final. The problem no
So he has experience in the final.
Experience. Yes.
And your man Amoka experience.
You see, experience. The Biamaka just say experience not about say who make an appearance. Final no koda me dey be no na a positive to team.
Besides, this is
it was chaos. The okoda penalty na okoba for him punch penalty won timi nche
player Jimmy penalty.
Okay.
Jimmy penalty.
Now, you see, back to the Mikel Arteta tactical issue. You see, from the first 10 minutes, from the first 10 minutes, we saw Arsenal not pressing intensively. Interrupting you.
How is that interrupting?
From the first 10 minutes, we saw Arsenal not pressing intensively. We saw Arsenal not all close zone. Said that City for to progressive pass to Rodri and Bernardo Silva in the midfield. Now, my name DC from the 15th minute, Arteta decided to go on a conservative mode. Now, if Arsenal City deep, City actually say control game. No, you see, the only problem at City I have in the first half, and they say City were rigid in terms of say or more attack here because now Doku stay wide, Semenyo stay wide, so they were rigid in the build-up. That was the problem. And into the first half, one more shot on target. Now, in the second half, trophy at stake. BBNC 0-0. Pep Guardiola no crowd psychologically team here weak because they lose against Madrid in the midweek back all out at the risk game Now Arsenal who are winning midweek. Psychologically players near strong right now. They are in the mood for trophies Who defended deep in the second half. Pep took advantage. Went on tactical flexibility or interpositional change. Be Arsenal for him. At the end of the day, cross the boss and show. You see, I didn't say second half. The the only thing that separated game is Pep Guardiola was very smart. Who say first time we were very rigid and Zidane creating more. So in the second half, what do? I was here calling the rotational mode, interpositional change. Said that Arsenal for no, a bit creative spaces be behind them. It's you Semenyo over inside. You Doku over inside for sometimes checking to occupy. You Semenyo over inside. Nico Riley be for no, just to create spaces. Said that a bit creative chance no. At the end of the day, almost 2 goals no. And one thing about football is City ball 10 shots, Arsenal ball 10 shots, Arsenal ball 4 on target, back when run at City ball 2 on target, they run at him. So what was stopping Arteta from taking risks that moment in the second half? Because a final, go all out. Play your possible ultra-attacking football. Get the results. Win the trophy. A backfire. Who defending a backfire? So what was stopping you from attacking?
Okay, into attacking is Yana.
But anyway, football fans are you. Okay, say Manchester ne kobo that 4-2 ya e ko tikam na mo ka say Pep Zizé wasano.
Against Real Madrid, Mekai.
Se si o ko be dia. Cinema say or no kwa de ka say Pep David. E dey ko be.
No, but what happened with I gave you something to overlay for me. Okay. I think it was the same idea in the Copa Madrid match, no?
Yeah.
Like I said, Madrid had played in a 4-4-2 weeks before that. So he wanted to counter that. Usually we both 4-4-2. What you want to do is that you want to pin Madrid back. You might not this image, but you want to pin Madrid back. Then you have 2 midfielders that will block the passing. Now, if you look at this image that's on our screen now, you realize that Pep pressed in a 4-2-4 narrow. It wasn't wide. So Arsenal could not, and I think it's down to 2 things. One, Arsenal's lack of a ball carrier centrally and then a deep line creator centrally. So if you flip the screen and Arsenal played that way, Pep Guardiola would have had solutions in Bernardo Silva. Because Bernardo can drop to come and receive the ball and then carry it or break those lines. But Arsenal did not have that. Martin Ibanez will be meant to sit and then control the tempo of the game. He's not very, very confident and arrogant in his pass selection. It's like Caicedo and Lavia. Lavia is very confident in his pass selection. He doesn't care. You can want to block the pass lane, he's passing. In a couple of times, he will beat that press. Arsenal did not have that. And I think it was a master plan from Pep. I don't agree that Arsenal sat back. They just didn't have the clue. One, you don't have the best line breaking passes as centre backs. Again, somebody like Levi Cole. Last season, when Enzo Maresca was really dominating, Levi Cole was that guy. You can block passing, he'll find the space and pass from centre back. Dean Hyson, he has that in him. He can break the lines from centre back. But Arsenal did not have that ability. And what that means is that if you force them and they can't build up shots, then they go long. If you go long, they are playing Kostanov and then Ake, especially on the left-hand side in Ake, for them to win the ball. And they are aggressive with their counter press. So you realize that there are 2 fullbacks, Nico O'Reilly and then, what's his name?
Yes.
Matthias Nunes. Yeah. They will push forward. So if you look at the 2 goals that Nico O'Reilly scored, all of them, he was following, what's his name? Bukayo Saka. The ball has dropped deep. Bukayo Saka is coming. He's following Bukayo. Realizes that even in the second one, and that's the image, in the second one, you can tell that he's careful of Saka. And that's what they call the rest defense. The rest defense is what your defenders are doing when you are going to attack. That is the defense that is resting, because the attackers have the ball. So the defenders are resting. So in the rest defense, he is worried. Sebon Ibu came to see, how can I counter press and win the ball back? But he realized that Saka is going deeper and deeper. So Saka can't box me that, why should I worry about the rest defense? And it is 4-2-4, narrow press, winning second balls and being aggressive with the counter press that got masses. I think that it was, I don't want to blame Mikel Arteta so much. I think it was tactical masterclass from Joseph on the night. He was just top. He got it right. If he had gotten it wrong, we would have said a lot of questions about him. Again, I can understand that against Madrid, he started Antoine rather on the wing and didn't change that. This time, in the first half, when that didn't happen, he took Ryan Cherki to the wing, brought Antoine into the box.
And then
yes, and then see what he wanted to do. Apart from that, but I think that Pep was superb on the night.
Is he for the 4-2-4 you were talking about? Is he, and Ancelot's first season, he used to press in that way, 4-2-4. But see, the problem with the 4-2-4 is mostly coaches that presses in 4-2-4 almost take one of the fullback unmarked because Bakube move inside. I'm on my pressing arrow. It's one of the fullback, either the left or the right, leaving it free. So it means that Arsenal was going to get a one man unmarked.
They did. Arsenal had it in Ben White.
Yes.
The thing with Ben White was that they used what's his name? Nico O'Reilly. Nico was willing to jump. So if you can find that fullback, I don't have a tactical board here, but if you're talking about that fullback on the other side, like which is Ben White, it means that you have to go long to him or diagonal to Ben White. Before you play the ball in the air, O'Reilly is coming. He will make sure that Ben White cannot receive the ball to play to Bukayo. And that was just the nitty-gritty. I think that Arteta should have changed something.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes when Maresca talks about the inversion of fullbacks, this is where probably a fullback at Arsenal should have inverted and gone to the middle.
Yeah.
To increase the numerical advantage.
Yeah,
because if you have 4
priority.
players, increase the numerical advantage, the numerical superiority that you have in the middle, to receive from them and play forward. Maybe it didn't happen. And also, I think that the lack of a proper number 10 was a big question. Udegaard, Eberechi, their absence was a big
I
question
think
for them.
in this game, they needed more of Udegaard than Eberechi.
Exactly. I mean, and number 10, yes, so Udegaard or maybe anybody in that frame. Saka playing is not a 10. He's not a tight space controller like that. I mean, I think essentially.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notification bell. This is where we end today's Offside Laughs. Drop your comments in the comment section.